One of our small block Ford engines with the MSD fuel injection. Just going to go over some of the installation items you need to know when installing one of our turnkey MSD fuel injection systems in your vehicle. We pretty much set up everything, test run the engine for over an hour, set the ignition timing, we check everything. We check for leaks, set the idle, everything is done on the engine, ready to go. On the MSD system here, it's a very simple menu screen. And I'm going to show you. You have the dash set up on there. It has all your readings. And when I set it up for every customer, the engine is already dialed in, ready to go. So when I go to initial setup, we set the engine. This is a 302 engine. So we set the cubic inch size to 302 here. Our next screen is the number of cylinders. It's an 8-cylinder engine. Camshaft type. We're running a street stock style cam in here. Fuel pump on here. On this particular engine, it's power width modulated with a pressure regulator. So it's getting the pressure regulator with a return back to the fuel tank. So we set it up PWM with regulator. It does not have an air pump, so no. We're setting the idle right around 850 on this. This has a rev limiter on here. We usually set it right around 6,000 RPMs. And then the timing control, we basically set the timing with our timing light. So we leave it with the disabled timing control. The computer is not controlling it. We have it set up so we set the initial timing and then there's nothing else to do from that point on that. So then I go back to the atomic dash, and again every engine is test ran for over an hour. All the readings are right off of there. You get your battery voltage, fuel pressure, map, TPS sensor, idle air control valve, the coolant temperature, and a tachometer reading. The system also has a nice thing on here for diagnostics. If there's any code that's set, you can clear the codes right off of here, push the button, and clear if you ever have a code. When you install one of the fuel-injected MSD systems, the oxygen sensor must be hooked up on your exhaust in the location that you want in the instructions. That's very important that that is done. The O2 bung is welded into your pipe and it's hooked up right away. Over here we have the fuel pressure regulator on this one. Again, we set the fuel pressure, we test run it, everything is done for you. We set the ignition timing. The positive terminal on the ignition coil, you will have to hook up one wire to the positive terminal. That's key controlled power on and off the ignition key. The tachometer wire, you hook up your tach signal wire right to the green wire. I have it marked tachometer. We already preset the idle screws. There's two of them here, the front and the back one. We set your idle for you. So it's all done, ready to go. Your oil pressure switch, you'll hook it up right to there. This particular engine has the QuickTime bell housing on there. We already have the ram clutch aligned, the high torque mini starter in there. Over here. So the whole engine will have all the necessary tags on there, labeled where all your hookups are. We also put the thermostat in there and the thermostat housing. The belt, serpentine belt on this engine is aligned, tensioned, ready to go. We always use a one-wire hookup alternator. All you have to do is hook a 10-gauge wire from the stud and nut directly to the positive terminal on the battery. The other thing is very important on all the engines. You have to put a ground strap cable from the block right to the frame. Your engine is sitting on rubber motor mounts and a rubber trans mount. It has to have a ground source for the starter to work properly and all the electronics. So I scraped the paint off the block right there. You always want to put a 4-gauge copper ground strap cable from the block right to your frame. But this is one of, again, the MSD fuel injected small block Fords we have here. And again, everything is set, ready to go. When you get the engine, it is drop-in ready.